How would you guys like it if I just did another deck request? Because I have another one for you. I finished this roid deck a couple days ago, and I've been testing it. It's been working pretty well. There's one card in it, which is Shocktopus, which someone suggested, like, yeah, you should put this in the roid deck. I'm like, why? But the person really insisted on it. I can't actually remember their name. Um, it was someone on the end. Don't remember who, but they were like, yeah, Shocktopus works great, gets the opponent attack power to 0. And I guess with this sort of semi-strategy that I have going on with roid, Shocktopus could work, but it's kind of slow, but in the end the entire deck is kind of slow. So in that sense it doesn't mean too much, but it's a level 4, but it's not a machine, and I'm not really sure about Shocktopus. I just threw in 3 to test it out. I decided to just go with this version. You can test it out, get rid of Shocktopus if you want, or not. In the deck profile, we'll talk about some things that you could possibly replace Shocktopus with, because I have been thinking about that. Yeah, as for the duel, this is a roid deck request, made by 3torchik. Too bad it's written with a K at the end, 3torchik, because otherwise it was a Pokemon. That's probably still based on a Pokemon, though. Now, cards I have in this deck 3 times. Prideful Roar. It costs you a couple of life points, but it makes you able to get over any attacking monster. So that's good stuff. Yay. Now, the opponent's titled Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls. I'm like, okay, yeah, Dragon Rulers. Saw that coming. I'm like, oh, okay, he's gonna attack into me, which I would be fine with because I have Prideful Roar. Now, I would have preferred if I'd just be able to play Forbidden Lands, but he's 1,000 attack over me instead of less than 800. Now here the opponent makes a slight error in understanding the ruling behind Trident Dragon. Trident Dragon's effect triggers and activates upon its synchro summon. It's not an ignition effect that you can activate anytime during your main phase. So what the opponent thought is that was it. You have Trident Dragon on the field, you can just set cards and then activate it. It doesn't work like that. There need to be actually be cards beside Trident Dragon on the field upon the time it is synchro summoned to be able to destroy the stuff and use it. Now the sets were legal. It's just that the cards being sent to the grave weren't. So the cards have to stay set on the field. Now, as I say here in the chat, I would have loved to see him actually be able to do it legally, because I knew that even if he had 3 attacks, I would be able to get over him with Prideful Roar. I actually know he was going to reveal it in a bit. He has Forbidden Lance as his other card, which he would have destroyed as well, I'm going to assume, because he set the card. And setting a quick play spell before your battle phase, especially a card like Forbidden Lance, isn't normal. So he probably was going for 3 attacks and almost an OTK. I would have been able to get over him with Prideful Roar. He would have had very few cards, and I would have had a really easy time. I'm going to have quite a difficult time in this duel because he still had those cards. Otherwise, I very likely would have won it without too much trouble. So I do use Prideful Roar. The opponent chains Forbidden Lance, which is very smart. However, quick play spells, unlike normal spells, quick play spells work like traps, and that you cannot activate them the turn they are set. There are still spell cards, so you can still activate them from your hand during the main phase. But if you set them, then you cannot activate them until the following turn. So I now know both the opponent's set cards. Sacred Sword of 7 Stars, which the opponent can't really do much with, and Forbidden Lance. It's Lance that I'm worried about. I can't really do much with Sacred Sword. I'm pretty sure I have 1 MST in this deck. You can increase it to more if you want. Maybe I should do so. I'm like, okay, Prideful Roar is what I want because I have roid. And part of the strategy with this deck is to pump up roid. Roid has 1,000 attack, 2,000 defense, and when it destroys a monster by battle, and sends it to the graveyard, the monster that is destroyed by roid in battle gets equipped to roid, and then roid gains that monster's attack. Would roid then destroy another monster by battle, that monster is also equipped to it, and it also gains that monster's attack. So let's say through like Prideful Roar, it destroys Force Raider and at 1900 to get it to 29, and then Blue Eyes White Dragon. Then it will be at 5,900 attack. That's very nice. Now the only problem I have is Forbidden Lance, because like his Forbidden Lance or her, I don't know. I can use Prideful Roar whatever I want, however I want. But the opponent can just chain Forbidden Lance, therefore make my Prideful Roar useless, and even make me take 800 extra damage. That's the problem. So the opponent is going to be able to summon a nice card this turn. Man, I have my Forbidden Lance. I have my Prideful Roar. If the opponent would summon a monster and attack my monster, and the difference would be 800 or less, I just use Forbidden Lance on the opponent's monster, because then we'd actually either both get destroyed or only the opponent's monster, because then Forbidden Lance wouldn't be able to save their monster because the attack will still be lowered. But the difference is greater than 800, it's 1000, so I can only really use Prideful Roar here to save myself, because I don't have like 2 Forbidden Lances, even though that would still not work, because one stops the other. I can use Prideful Roar what I want. It's going to cost me 1000 life points, but he's just going to negate that with Forbidden Lance. I'm like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to allow it. And because I know that with Shocktopus, with Truckroid, that's what I figured out when I was looking at my extra deck to figure out my options. I'm like, okay, I can keep Truckroid, Shocktopus, and use the other Shocktopus in my hand to make Violent Sigma, and use Violent Sigma to just steal his monster. That was the plan. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take Drillroid. He's going to be destroyed anyway. So, Drillroid destroyed. Unfortunately, I can get it back in my hand with Expressoid later if necessary. Opponent summons Mythic Tree Dragon. Uses its effect, makes it level 7. Dracosack comes out. I'm like, I'm still not afraid. If Dracosack's not going to attack, and a lot of people don't do this, I didn't do this for the first couple of months, why don't you place it in defense position? It's not going to get destroyed by battle anyway. By placing in an attack position, you only allow yourself to take damage with the opponent still attack it. They won't likely attack it, but you might as well, because it's not the 400 less defense that you have compared to your attack aren't going to matter, because you're not going to take damage. The chance that your opponent will attack Dracosack and attack, I'd say, is higher than the opponent having a piercing monster with a piercing effect like Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger, that can attack with 2200. Although Gaia Dragon is still sort of common in decks, a good amount of decks that can make rank 7s run it at 1, like the Dragon Rulers. So I get Dracosack, and actually I don't use the Sigma too often, but when I do, I barely ever get to use the second part of its effect. I get to use it now, not that it really matters, because the tokens are at 0 defense. But when the Sigma is equipped with a monster, you look at its attribute. Dracosack's attribute is Wind. If the Sigma fights with a monster that is also Wind, then that monster is destroyed at the start of the damage step, I believe. Or start battle step. Pretty sure it's damage step. But yeah, opponent uses Blaster's effect, discards it along with another fire, which is also Blaster, destroys the Sigma, which also sends Dracosack to grave. And yeah, I knew Tidal was coming. And apparently there's another Tidal. And then Mythic Tree goes to make Redux. Now, besides Redux and Tempest, there are no other card that can be banished. The token can't be banished because it can't exist anywhere but the field. And Dracosack is not a dragon, it's a machine, so that can only be used for Tempest. Thunder Charger can be used because it's dragon for any of the summons, but Truckroid. I'm going to do this next turn, and it's going to be important how many dragons they have able to build. I'll just get you through it. The plan here is, and it'll be clear after Pot of Duality, because that really gives me the only chance I have. Pot of Duality, banish top 3. I get Dark Bribe. I like that. Vehicroid, I can't fuse at the moment. I'm like Mirror Force. In hindsight, I should have gotten Mirror Force, although with Mirror Force, he still would have been able to Forbidden Lance it, so I guess Dark Bribe was the best option, yeah. And the idea is here, to keep Truckroid, because I know Dark Bribe can stop Lance. Lance can stop my Prideful Roar, so I set Expressroid, use Truckroid next to my Prideful Roar. What I forgot is, for one, his piercing effect. Good thing that I actually have more than 1200 defense, otherwise I'd have been done. And I need to pay life points for Prideful Roar, I can't actually use it anymore now. So I need to do it with Forbidden Lance. That makes things a lot more difficult, because otherwise I would have been able to take out Gaia Dragon. Now once again, here it's important, because I draw into Limiter Removal. I can double Truckroid's attack to 2000. With Forbidden Lance I can lower Gaia Dragon's attack to 1800, therefore beat it. One of the two will very likely be negated with his Forbidden Lance, which will be my limiter removal. I can just chain Dark Bribe and negate that. Truckroid will then be able to destroy Gaia Dragon, and with its effect, equip it, get to 3600 attack. Gaia Dragon will be an equip card, equip spell, on his field, equipped to my Truckroid, therefore not in the hand or graveyard, not usable for the dragon's effects. Tidal and Redux will be in the grave, but they'll need a third dragon or earth or water to use. Because if they draw into any dragon, then Redux or Tempest can use their effect, banishing the other of the two, and then the dragon that they drew. If they draw into an earth, Redux can use its effect. If they draw into a water, Tidal can use its effect to summon itself. And due to limit removal, I won't have a monster so they can just direct attack for game. So, if they draw into any water monster, earth monster, or dragon type monster, I'm done for. The opponent might actually already have it, and I'm going to use Dark Bribe, giving them a second card. And the third card that they're going to draw at the start of their turn in the draw phase might also be one of those cards. The only chance I still had to win was for none of those cards to be Earth Attribute, Water Attribute, or Dragon type. Then I had a chance. Because then I would be able to, the opponent wouldn't have been able to damage me. I would, hopefully anyway, I would be able to draw a card, hopefully that'd be a really good one, and then attack the opponent. Now, I destroy him, opponent takes 200 damage due to me being at 2000. Unfortunate thing, and this is why I usually want to use limit removal on Truckroid, because you want to keep it on the field with its boosted attack, but this was really the only chance I had. Although, now that I think about it, why did I not use limit removal on Lance on his turn? They're both quick life spells. That way, my field wouldn't have been empty, and I would have kept Truckroid till the end phase. Yeah. Why did I not do that? I don't know. I should have done that. Well, this gave the opponent the opportunity to just summon Tempest and destroy me. Would have ended differently if it would have actually used them on the opponent's turn. Well, that was Duel. See you in the deck profile. We'll talk more there. Yeah, I have this song in my head, one of Suzugamo Ren's character songs from Cardhide Vanguard, but you're not here to hear me sing or do anything related to that. You're here to see me do the deck profile for the roid deck, so here we go. We have 3 drill roids, 3 submarine roids, 3 steam roids. They are, I'd say, among the better of the roids, and they're used for this one. Super Vehicroid Jumbo Drill. So yeah, I do kind of want to summon that, so having multiple copies of him is kind of useful. One effect Veiler. You can use it as a tuner. I've actually only drawn into it once, and then I definitely wanted to keep it for negation. Express Roid once to get some stuff back. Not really sure about Express Roid, but no, you can use it. Maxi twice to get some draws, because there's still a lot of special summons. Truckroid, in a sense, the main card of this deck, but I didn't want to run 3. Through Lance and Prideful Roar, you can have it, just will win the battle with an opponent's monster. It destroys it, equips it to itself, gains a lot of attack, and you can equip more than one monster to it. It doesn't gain half the attack and gains the entire attack, so that way you can really power up Truckroid. And through Forbidden Lance, you can save it from traps, although note that if you use Forbidden Lance, let's say you have Truckroid at like 5,000 attack, and use Forbidden Lance to save Truckroid from Mirror Force, note that its attack for until the end of that turn will be 200. Because all the equip cards will be counted as equip spells, because they're equip cards. And Forbidden Lance makes him unaffected by him. They are equipped by Truckroid's effect, and Truckroid's effect isn't negated, so they'll still stay equipped. He just won't get any of the effects, any of the attack. But you may want to do it. Who knows? Now, as I said in the duel, 3 Shocktopus because someone told me to use them. I've been thinking of what to replace it with, but we'll get to that when we get to the side deck. Once again, not a proper side deck for match duels because I usually just do most of these deck quests for singles. And in the side, I could just put cards that I've considered using. So we'll go over replacements for Shocktopus when we get to them, because I have some good ideas for that. Dark Hole, because he's just good at destroying. Double Summon to get an extra card in. Mostly this is used for XC summoning to assist in that. Forbidden Lance to save your monsters from traps. To lower the opponent's attack to be able to win in battle. Can also work with Truck Roid. Limiter removal, preferably not to use with Truck Roid. You can if you really have to. 1 Mystical Space Devil, and you could definitely run more. 3 Pot of Duality to search for things. Vehicle Connection Zone is sort of the polymerization, but because I'm only using fusions with roids, you can use Vehicle Connection Zone. But note that not all of the roids actually work with this spell. It needs to be a Vehicle fusion monster card, and there's only 2 of that. There's Super Vehicle Jumbo Drill and Super Vehicle Stealth Union. And so that's a disadvantage. It only works on those 2 monsters. But the advantage is that the fusion monsters summoned by this card cannot be destroyed by the effect of spells, traps, and effect monsters. It can still be targeted and like sent back to the hand or whatever, so compulsion stuff still works. But it can't be destroyed, so no Mirror Force and Torrential Tribute. And also its effect cannot be negated, so Jumbo Drill will always keep its piercing effect, and Stealth Union will also be able to still use its effect, because it just cannot be negated, thanks to Vehicle Connection Zone. I have 2 Dark Ripe to negate the opponent's stuff, as there will be quite a few things that like are able to get rid of Truck Roid. Like I see Truck Roid and Drill Roid as my main 2 cards. I still quite like Drill Roid. It's 1600 attack. I would have preferred it to be a bit higher. I like its effects. Only works in defense, and you don't really see a lot of monsters in defense anymore with all the special summoning and exceeding and stuff that's going on. But I still quite like Drill Roid. There's a reason it wasn't my diamond deck, like my favorites from, what was it? Halfway, 5Ds and before. Drill Roid was among there. I have 1 Mirror Force. I have 3 Prideful Roars to get over an opponent's monster and to also definitely assist with Truck Roid's power up. Do note that you actually need to pay life points. I forgot that during the duel. I have Solemn Warning. I have a Starlight Road. I have 2 Supercharge, which is sort of Pot of Greed, but with an activation requirement, and it's a trap card. I just used it at the start of the game because I'm like, might as well use it. And it needs to be right when the opponent declares the attack, which means if a replay would, for whatever reason, occur on your field, during the opponent's turn, if a replay would occur and the opponent selects another target, then Supercharge cannot be activated because they just changed target. A new target is selected, possibly, if they wish, but there's only 1 attack declaration. So you have to activate Supercharge then. It gets you 2 extra cards. Helps. In the extra deck I have 2 Super Vehicle Jumbo Drill. Nice 3000 attack point beater. Piercing effect, I like that. And it cannot be destroyed by spells, traps, and effect monsters effects. So that would make me want to use it more, because with just the piercing effect I don't really want to run it more due to all the dangers coming from trap cards, but Vehicle Connection Zone does help with that. For the synchros that I can summon with effect failure, I have Catastor, Armades, and Mistworm. I haven't actually summoned Mistworm. I barely ever summon it anyway in any deck that I put him in, which is why I don't have him in many decks, but it can definitely be useful. I have Stardust Dragon to work with Starlight Road. Technically, I can summon him with... Never mind, I can't. I don't have a level 3, or another level 1 that's not a tuner. So, skip that, just for Starlight Road. As for the Exceeds, I've had quite a few things to think about. Gaga Cowboy, I have it in there, because it's just nice to get over certain monsters, and the burn effect is always nice to play it as endgame. I have number 44 Sky Pegasus. I don't usually use it because I don't feel its attack is too great. Its effect is too great. Only 1800 attack as well, so in that sense, it can be beaten quite fast. It only has an ignition effect, so nothing to save itself. But I decided to use it because I just felt like, let's just use a couple of cards that I don't use often, see how they work. And it's worked quite well. It's not like I'm going to use it in every deck now, but I like it. It's once per turn you can detach 1 Xyz material from it and then target a face-up monster the opponent controls and destroy it. However, the opponent can pay 1000 life points to negate the effect. It would have been so much better if it would have just been destruction, I think. It likely would have been better because then the opponent wouldn't be able to stop it. However, this gives the opponent a choice which they feel is the best, but really, destroying their monster and lowering their life points by 1,000, both are good. Likely, you want to destroy a strong monster. Then the opponent will likely pay 1,000 life points. Their life points are lower, that's, I guess, also good, makes you closer to victory, but really, because they still have their monster, which you wanted to destroy in the first place, yeah, it might not actually work too well, but I wanted to try it out. It's been okay. I have one Maestro because it can save itself, and its first fix is kind of nice, but then I remember there was Silent Honor's Arcanite, which overall I feel better about than Maestro, so I have one of each right now. Might actually go to 2 Silent Honors. I have Evil Storm Excitonite. Haven't actually used it in a couple of test duels that I've done, but I definitely know it's a good card. Photon Pappy Operative. Haven't actually gone to use it. Haven't used it much in any rank 4 Xyz deck anyway. So I'll probably take that out for something else. Would I continue with this deck? 2 Gear Gigant X, because you have a lot of machines. You get your Steam Roid, you get your Drill Roid, you get your Track Roid, you get your Express Roid. Gear Gigant is good. Nice 2300 attack, and can search for a new one. And then Violent the Sigma. I didn't run it in too many decks, but it can definitely be useful, as you saw in this duel. And for the side deck are some options that I've thought about. Phoenix Chain stops the opponent's monster from attacking, but it can only be an effect monster. It has to be an effect monster to actually work on it. Stops the opponent from attacking, negates their effects. Nice. I'm always like Phoenix Chain against Breakthrough Skill ever since it came out. Breakthrough Skill can be used once it's destroyed. Breakthrough Skill does still get its effect when MSD would be used on it. Phoenix Chain loses the effect. However, Phoenix Chain also negates attacks, which Breakthrough Skill doesn't, and would Phoenix Chain not be immediately destroyed by MSD, it can stop the opponent from attacking and negates their effects for multiple turns, which Breakthrough Skill only does until the end phase. So, when Breakthrough Skill was just out, I was more towards that, but now I'm more towards Phoenix Chain again. I have Evil Storm Ouroboros as an option, like instead of the Sigma, or if you want to get a third, like a second a rank 4 that uses 3 monsters, you can do that. Jedi Pearl as just the 2600 beater. Black Ship of Corn, I usually use that over Papil, but really you don't see much of Gachi, much of Maestro, much of Zen Mines anymore, so Black Ship has definitely gone down in use. Now for some cards you could replace Shocktopus with. I just looked at all of the level 4 roids. You have Carrier Roid, not too great. Jet Roid. Jet Roid can be, I guess, sort of a bluff card. Jet Roid can definitely be fun to use. Because it's 1200 attack, 1800 defense, but anytime it's selected as an attack target by an opponent's monster, you can activate trap cards from your hand. So you'd be like, okay, I have no set cards, but I summon Jetroid and attack. Come and get me. So then the opponent will be like, does the opponent have Mirror Force in their hand? Because by keeping it in your hand, the opponent can't destroy it with Mystical Space Typhoon or Night Beam. So that can be a fun card to mess around with. Patroid, once per turn during your main phase, you can look at a face-down card the opponent controls and then return it to its original position. Shuttleroid, nah, it can do some damage, but really it's not that great. Stealthroid, 1200 attack, 0 defense. I guess you can use that with Masked Chameleon if you want. And if it attacks, it's mandatory. If it attacks, destroy 1 spell or trap card at the end of the battle phase if you control another roid monster. I guess that can be useful. It helps with destroying spells and traps. And if you decide to run Stealthroid, and you already have Truck, Steam, and I believe Drill. Yeah. No. Truck, Drill, Express. Yeah, and then you're going to get Super Vehicle Stealth Unit because it's Truck Roid, Express Roid, Drill Roid, Stealth Roid. So if you're running Stealth Roid, Truck Roid, Drill Roid, and you might want to get a second Express Roid just to have a higher chance of drawing it. Effect is not too great, but if you want to use it for the fusion. So if you're running Stealth Roid, you can throw in 1 Stealth Union if you'd like. I can say that the Machina Roid deck is a better deck than this one. Like, it's slightly more consistent. It does better against other decks. But even though it wasn't stated in the deck request, it was just Roid deck. That was a request. I just wanted to make it almost purely Roid. I was fine with going with Sharktopus if it worked well, but nah. And Effect Vader Maxi, I was fine with that. I did not want Machina, even though I felt it would be better that way. I wanted almost pure roids for the main deck. So I didn't want to use Machina. If you want to make a better, yeah, I want to use roids. I wanted to use Super Roid Connection Zone with at least one of the two main fusions. So I went with Jumbo Drill because I felt better about that. Because the fusion materials used for it, I felt better about it. Submarine Roid, Drill Roid, Steam Roid. I feel like Truck Roid's still good, but Express Roid and Stealth Roid, not that much. So, and it also requires 4 materials, Stealth Union, so didn't want to use that. But if you want, you can use Gearframe and Fortress and probably some other Machinas and make this deck better that way. But then you'll likely take out some fusions and some of the other cards, but up to you. And Tin Goldfish. That's probably what you want to replace Sharktopus with. Would I use this deck again? I'll probably, I will do that. Because it can help summon a monster, it can Xyz into Gear Gigant immediately, search for a new one, makes Xyzing easier. So Sharktopus replaced by Tin Goldfish. I'm pretty sure that would be the right choice. Just 3 Sharktopus out, 3 Tin Goldfish in. I don't intend to use this deck too much more because it's not a great deck. I like the deck, but not that much like the Gishki deck or the Watt deck that I'd say I'm going to use it, or the Spellcasters deck, that deck request that I would pick up later in regular duels again because I feel like it's not that I don't like the deck, but meh. I'm neutral on this deck, I guess. But Prideful Roar, I'll definitely remember that. I'm going to use Prideful Roar in, probably going to use Prideful Roar in Chapter 8 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Burst, which I'm writing right now as you're watching this video, like in the next week. I'll probably be writing that. So look forward to that, Yu-Gi-Oh! Burst Chapter 8. 3torchik, hope you like the deck. Next up is a deck request from fellow admin on the end, Termi 7, who wanted me to make an Inzektor ZW weapon deck. Gonna be interesting. Probably gonna need to use that, I believe it's Ladybug, level 2 that increases levels. Gonna have to make use of that. But yeah, that's for next time. See you later.